Mr. Tujaquez, all I asked you to do was be safe in my community. You've now picked up a new case. I'm not going to let you go. You picked up a new assault. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter where it is. We ask you to behave yourself. And when you pick up a new case, that's not a good thing.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
No, this has very valid explanations that I think the court will want to hear in the situation. It's a very unusual situation.
What time does court start?
Empieza la corte.
Mr.
8:30.
What time did you get here?
Llegó. I didn't have to come today.
Yo tenía que comunicarme con mi abogado después de las 4.
After the 4th, I was supposed to communicate with my lawyer.
I ordered you to come here
Yo le
today
ordené
because you
venir hoy.
picked a new case. You are on bond for an assault. You now have picked up a new assault. You are now facing another year and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause.
Defendant and the defendant dating relationship. On 11/27/24, officers were dispatched to an assault in progress in Harris County, Texas. Officer met with other officers who had already detained the defendant. The officer spoke to the complaining witness, who stated the defendant pulled her hair at the house and that she felt pain. She stated that they had been driving down Westheimer and the defendant attempted to take her purse that had a flash drive that had fraudulent scam material on it. Complaining witness said the defendant was trying to scam San Jose Gas Oil, and the information was on the USB drive. Complainant stated that they started to fight, and she scraped her hand on the purse and felt pain. Complaining witness also stated no threats were made, and the suspect did not put his hands on her. Defendant stated they were arguing in the car, and the complaining witness slapped him twice and scratched him. Defendant stated he felt pain. The witness stated she worked security and she saw the traffic was backed up, so she drove up and saw the complaining witness and the defendant in a stopped car in the street. She said she saw the complainant and the defendant fighting. Complaining witness was trying to exit the vehicle, and that's when the defendant pulled her hair. Witness stated the complainant exited and ran across the street and called 911. Officers observed blood on passenger window where complaining witness was sitting. Officers also observed complaining witness to have injuries to both hands.
I don't think I've ever taken someone in for coming in at 11:30, for coming in at 12. But I do have a problem when you pick up a new case.
Yes, sir.
And it's alleged here that you have assaulted this person, and they have now provided me with enough evidence that I'm going to find probable cause that it occurred. Joe?
Your Honor, the only thing I can say is the client has vigorous defenses. Obviously, this is not the appropriate point to point out, but I don't know, was the complaining witness out on probation at this time, or because she herself was under some legal
All I know is that
very
is
serious.
the 2 times that he pulled her hair, or was it just 1 time? It sounded like it was
just a one-time, Judge.
He was trying to prevent her from, she was gonna go out of the moving vehicle, was what his position was. He was trying to keep her from getting hurt, from going out of the moving vehicle.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Because I believe what happened is she called and reported this afterwards. They left the scene and then she called, phoned it in and reported it afterwards.
So is she trying to jump out of a moving car and he's pulling her hair to keep her in? Well, but then the witness sees them outside of the car arguing, and then he pulls her hair outside of the car.
I heard that. I did hear that,
So
Your
the
Honor.
witness saw the defendant and the complaining witness inside the vehicle fighting. The witness tried to get the complaining witness out of the motor vehicle, and then the defendant
Picked up a new
pulled her back
case.
by her hair.
Are we supposed to be happy you're on bond for an assault and you pick up a new assault? Well, now is, I mean,
I would never hurt somebody that I'm with.
Por favor, me refiero que diga su señoría.
She's my girlfriend. She's right now in jail. He has
Porque ella está en las drogas.
She's has problems. She's
Yo que-
drug addicted to drugs.
Yo quiero que ella lo
Okay,
hospitalice.
I want her to be
Yo soy la-
hospitalized.
yo soy la-
you,
The only reason that was relevant, Your Honor, if I could help him out, is that he did tell me beforehand to help the court and the system, is that she has been his girlfriend for many years, and that he has one child he supports along with his mother, who's here today, and he works as a driver, and he does support them all. But she does have this problem with drugs and has this pending case. He himself suffers from depression and diabetes, but he does manage to work in order to support them all. If these are just things that maybe the court could consider, because it would be a real hardship for them to lose the income. Now, he would agree to any kind of additional controls in terms of staying away from her, but maybe 200 feet away or things like that. Because she's not living with them. The child is not hers. It's from a previous relationship that he supports. But they're actually two. One is 7 years old. One is 7 years old, and the other one is 3 years old. And so we're talking some very fairly young children that's in his custody. Now, his mother has been helping maintain him. She's back there on the
The
second.
complaining witness is currently in jail, I believe in Paris County Jail. I'm
this
trying to figure
complaining
out what
witness?
for. Yes, sir. I'm just trying to figure out for what, all I see is an out of county charge, so maybe there was a warrant. So it shows up kind of weird. I have like an out of county cost.
That's
number,
okay,
but
just-
I don't know if it will show up.
Is it a 2? Is it a 3? What?
No, it's like OOC.
No, that's,
Yeah.
Huh?
It says that she's currently in Harris County Jail as of 11/27.
yeah. So what happened if they got arrested together?
That's all I see. So it's gonna be another.
She's got,
See or no?
Yes.
she's got a less than a gram case wherever.
Okay.
So she must have had an open warrant for a less than a gram case as well. Mr. Tujaquez, all I asked you to do was be safe in my community. You've now picked up a new case. I'm not going to let you go. You picked up a new assault. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter where it is. We ask you to behave yourself. And when you pick up a new case, that's not a good thing. And if I let you go, that is telling you it is okay to do what you're doing. And it's not. There has to be consequence to action so that you understand we mean business. If this person is like that, then you know, or you should know, not to associate yourself with this type of person. Do you understand?
But please, my family depends on me.
Then this is what you think of beforehand. You don't think about this after the fact.
But I didn't do anything. I wanted to help her.
I'm not going to talk to you about the case. I'm not going to know. Now, I will tell you this, that I had already revoked your bonds and I was going to set them both at 10,002, but I won't do that. I'll entertain a lower bond with you, Joe. I mean, what do you think is appropriate? I want you to understand that I'm going to take you in because I want you to understand that public safety is my number one concern. That's it. As a courtesy for your lawyer, and because of what you're saying, I will not set it as high as I was going to, and I will entertain a lower bond. But you picked up a new assault.
Your Honor, would you consider $1,500?
Say, what do you think?
Judge, I'm just gonna argue for a general $5,000 bond. This individual was told obviously not to pick up any new cases and he picked up the exact same kind of case while on bond previously.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'll split the puppy, okay? And on the new case, he's at 5,000 now on the old case. I'm gonna revoke that PR bond. I'm gonna set that one at 5,001. And then on the new case, I'll do it 3,501 as opposed to 10,002 on both of them. And that is, Joe, I hope that you now understand that we mean business. And no matter what the excuse, no matter who you're with, you pick up a new case, there are consequences.
No, yo nada.
Promise I won't cause you any more problems. You won't see me for something like this again.
I hope you show back up to court.
Es serio, ¿no?
Espero que
Es
sí se
serio.
presente.
Stay in contact with your
Sí,
lawyer,
claro, sí, claro.
Of course, of course.
and from now on,
De ahora en
as a
adelante,
part of your
como
plan,
parte,
Le pido una disculpa
don't.
porque yo el día 4 no tenía mi corte.
Tú, Jaques, no habla. I want you to listen. I don't want you to have contact with the complaining witness in this case. I do not want you to be in possession of any weapons. You are also not to have contact with the complaining witness in the first assault case. If you pick up a third case, I am telling you now, I will go absolutely bonkers on your bond. Do you understand?
of course.
The only reason I'm making the bond as low as it is now is because of Joe. Otherwise, your bond would be at 10,002. But as a courtesy, but I will have absolutely no qualms whatsoever if you pick up a third case. Okay? All right. Goes with you. All right. Okay, Joe. We'll talk soon. So, hey, he's going to auto-populate tomorrow.
Are you gonna talk to him?
No. Joe, sorry. Where's Luis? Sorry, Luis, I forgot to do the protective order. All right, here we go. Mr. Tujakas Palomino, I'm now entering in a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies Ms. Ramos Sabarit as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. If you get out of jail and if she should contact you, if she calls you, do not answer the phone. If she calls you from an unknown number and you answer the phone and it is her, hang up. If she texts you, do not reply. If she comes to your house, do not answer the door. If she gets a hold of you through social media, do not answer. You're the one. If you violate this protective order, the state can and possibly will file a violation of a protective order. You violate these conditions, I can have a hearing to hold you at zero bond. Zero bond. And I will do it in a heartbeat to protect every person of this county. Do you understand? Are you sure?
This next case I selected for you has one of these worthless beings who can't control their little boy temper and show us all how pathetic some males are when it comes to being an actual man. Judge Stevens once said that when a man raises his hand against his partner, it identifies to the world that you are the type of person that can actually do this. And that means you have given a part of yourself that you kept hidden away. And from then on, that is how you shall be judged. Worthless.
So your full name? Kareem Cleveland May.
Good afternoon, Mr. May. This people of the state of Michigan versus Kareem May. Count enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I will hear arguments as to bond.
Thanks, Judge. The people in this matter are going to be asking for $50,000 cash, no surety, with title and house arrest if the defendant were to close. Your Honor, the people would like to note that after reading the investigative report, things just didn't add up, and I'm sure Your Honor may have felt that way after looking through the investigative report. We had two different accounts of actually what went on. Now, when the people are in this kind of position, what they like to do is reach out to the complainant in this matter, which we did. And as a result, Judge, we have a better understanding of what actually occurred in this matter. The complainant at the time of this incident was on the phone with dispatch the entire time. Your Honor, the injuries that the defendant allegedly sustained were a direct result of him breaking through the window. And that's what ended up causing all of the blood and gashes that he ended up having. The complainant in this matter had a child, which this defendant shares with the complainant. She was in the house as well. Your Honor, the complainant feels as though she is in danger as a result of this particular defendant. The injuries that the defendant sustained, again, were a direct result of what he ended up doing. Your Honor, she ended up talking to dispatch, and there's a call out there, which I'm sure will come out in the litigation of this matter, that is going to corroborate all of this. Not only that, Judge, just for housekeeping matters, this defendant was charged with felonious assault in, Your Honor, 2017. He was also charged with domestic violence in 2020. Both of those cases had to do with the same complaint that's in this case. Now, Your Honor, the felonious assault case ended up getting dismissed because the complainant ended up not appearing because she was scared. In the domestic violence case, Judge, that actually ended up just being adjudicated early this year after, I believe it was, the offense date was in 2020, after 4 cases by this defendant failing to appear. Ultimately, the complainant, again, never ended up showing up for trial because she was scared. And now we have 4 months later, after the adjudication on that domestic violence, and we have these charges in front of us today, Judge. It's the people's position that everything is going to be corroborated. We took a substantial amount of time talking to the complainant. There is a high likelihood of conviction in this matter, Judge. The people do feel justified in asking for that cash bond. We do feel as though this complaint is in danger. She also has a child. The glass, actually, Judge, that the defendant ended up breaking still hasn't been completely cleaned. They have a 1-year-old child, and she can't even have her 1-year-old child in that room because of the damage that this defendant ended up causing. So there is, Your Honor, a danger that we believe the defendant possesses in this case, and we feel justified in asking for that cash.
Thank you. For the defense.
Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. May, I would indicate that, first of all, any cases that were dismissed as used against him, I believe, violating his right to be convinced on those cases that were dismissed. Additionally, I want the court to know that he's 31 years old, Your Honor. I believe the life sentence in the community. His name was there that we're assuming casino. Your Honor, it's important to look at this investigative report because it did at least a bit of the side of the story. If somebody is so guilty, you're not going to go to the police station. I understand that people called the complaining witness, but they called the same person who assisted with this report being authored in itself. Obviously, the complaining witness is going to repeat her same story, and obviously, Mr. May is going to repeat the same story. But that's what court's about. So the question is whether or not Mr. May deserves to be held without bond or held on a high cash bond while this case is pending. Judge, I'm looking here, and I'm sure the people will correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see a presence of threat. I don't see an alleged injury. So I have my defendant who's going to the police station himself and making his own report, trying to tell his side of the story. I understand that the argument is that the complainant was on the phone, that may be why he went to the police, or whatever the argument may be, but nonetheless, I don't think a flight risk is fair here because he was arrested in the actual police station. And any danger to the community, I don't think presents to the community. If there's an issue between Mr. May and his child's mother, Judge, I'd ask that there would be a no contact order and there be maybe a tether. But I don't think a high cash bond here is necessary. Again, I don't believe that this complaining witness is credible. I think if she shows up this time and tells her story inside of court, it'll get flushed out. But Mr. May is maintaining his innocence. He waived his right to remain silent. And he spoke to detectives, Your Honor. He pulled the side of the story. That's when he was arrested. So that's for consideration.
Your Honor, just briefly, there
Oh,
wasn't
just-
any injury
just a minute.
because the complainant was in her house. Once she ended up seeing the defendant allegedly breaking in, she ended up contacting dispatch. In fact, Judge, it was the complainant who was relaying everything that the defendant was doing real time. Not only that, Your Honor, there was clear danger here. There was actually a brick. Subsequent to him breaking the window, he ended up leaving the residence once he saw, allegedly, that the complainant was calling the police, ended up throwing a brick at the window while the complainant's face allegedly was close to that window. She was in fear. Her daughter was in fear. We felt it in her voice, Your Honor. And I know this is something that will get flushed out, but this defendant, just based on the history, the felonious assault, the domestic violence, and this complainant being a part of all of those incidents where this defendant was alleged. And just to correct defense counsel, we weren't bringing those up, and I can understand where this court may not use a dismissal in this matter, but even in those particular cases, there were multiple capiases. So what the people were trying to show was that there is a flight risk on top of what the people are arguing is a substantial, sorry, Your Honor, danger.
Thank you.
Judge, a brief response. I did have the opportunity to look into something. I heard brother counsel allude to the fact that the complaining witness was scared. That's why she's not showing up to court. Well, I had the chance to run her name in the register of actions, Your Honor, and she's got 24 failures to appear on traffic misdemeanors. Now, I understand I don't like that being used against my client, but when we talk about things like scared to come to court, I think that that's something that
Maybe that's why she's scared. She's got warrants. Okay. So, nevertheless, I've heard the arguments. Based upon the arguments, I do deem Mr. May to be a danger to the complainant. Just like I don't believe people stab themselves in the back. I don't really believe people are in the business, especially those with small children and ongoing expenses of breaking out their own front windows, car windows, etc. So I do believe something happened. Mr. May says other people did it on the complainant's behalf. Again, there's broken windows, there's injuries, there's things that lend credibility to the fact that something happened here. And I've got to try to decide based upon what's in the investigator's report, was it what she said or was it what he said? I think there's more support, quite frankly, for the record counsel, if it comes up, given the fact that there are previous charges involving the same person with domestic violence, felonious assault, when I have to try to figure out who's telling the truth here, I don't know, but that it keeps coming up does cause me concern for the complainant's safety, and that's what I have to assess at this time. $50,000 cash is the amount of the bond. GPS tether with full home confinement if he's able to make the bond. No contact or attempted contact with the complainant, meaning no verbal contact, no written contact, no contact through third parties or social media. Any attempted contact would be considered a violation of the conditions of the bond. Thank you.
I made a little video here for my subscribers. And you new guys, I wanted to say to all of my wonderful subscribers, thank you all so very much for making the choice in subscribing to my channel. Every single one of you that make up this number. I, like this monkey, would give you a big kissy kissy. But since I can't do that, what I shall do instead is think of you all the next time I take a bath. What I have also done to say thank you is create a playlist for my subscribers that watch my episodes to the end. It's unlisted, so the only way you can access and save the playlist is by me giving it to you right now. So please accept this gift from me to you, as it will give you early access to episodes of mine before I release them publicly. Again, I cannot thank my subscribers enough for getting me off the ground. So, until next time, I'm off to have a bath.